Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the broadcast of a lifetime? I hear the battle cry. Gentlemen, if you're in the chat, you need to hit that like button right now. Jake is gonna fuck a cat live tonight on the review. This pussy is for you, the AEW fans. Tonight and tonight only, it's going down. Good God, Joey Janela's dead. I hear the battle cry. I don't know, man. I'm just all fired up. I don't even know why. It doesn't make any sense. It wasn't even the greatest. Nothing really was crazy tonight at all. So I don't even know what's going on, but I'm just, for some reason, I guess this is what happens when Raw doesn't make me want to die. Like, it's like, I just saw about as mediocre as, you know, AEW can be, and I'm still like let's go.
With a fire intro. Great opening match. Joey Janela
and Darby.
Dad bod fully impressed me yet again. Every time they give him a chance, he goes out there and kills it. There was a legit point in time in that match where for a moment I said, you know what? Maybe they will give Janela the title just to get it off of Darby, because then they can have him with Sting and do the street fight. But I'm like, nah. But that's how good Joey was in that moment. Even with like some of the sloppiness they had, and it was just so chaotic and totally out there that I loved it. It was really good.
Something about the like who gives a fuck like with Joey Janela. Like Joey Janela and Kenny Omega have that match in Boston. Joey Janela had another good match that I don't remember anymore now. I feel like it was similar to this, where it was like to put somebody else over. It might have been Archer or somebody. I don't know. It was something. Maybe it was Cody. I don't know. It was somebody.
I think it was a tag match they had.
Maybe. So this was the third.
With Sonny Kiss, I think that was one of them, because he had a really good match with Sonny Kiss at one point, too.
That might be a fourth one then, because I think this other one I'm thinking of was singles, but it could have been. I'm sure he had.
I just know that Joey has not disappointed on TV really so far. He's been very consistently entertaining, and whether he's putting people over or, you know, even when he had that squash match against Kenny after the fact, when they had that, you know, little build up for Kenny, he still did well.
I just realized my bass was turned all the way up. Dude. This is horrible though, because I've been
Beefy Mario in the house now.
I've been recording all these old videos today and like trying to get everything on VHS. And I was like wondering, man, these headphones are blown. These headphones are blown that I'm using. I'll just keep using them. And I just realized they weren't blown. The bass was turned all the way up on the mixer. So like, oh my God, dude, you guys must have had your heads blown off the first beginning of this show by the music and everything else. I thought there was something wrong with me. It wasn't. It was the bass was all the way up. I'm sorry, everybody, if you noticed something sounded wrong. That's what it was. Good God. But yeah, the show was better than WWE, so that's good. I give it a 6 out of 10. I'll tell you right off the bat.
I feel like I'm back in that 6 point right there with you. I feel like that's fair, because there was nothing mind blowing. You know, they made their little smarky comments. The door's been kicked down, and, you know, that the forbidden door has been opened. And I hope we get more talent coming from New Japan if this really is the case. But the main event was good. It just wasn't great.
Yeah,
I don't feel like this was the best way for them to showcase Kenta or, you know, the New Japan. I don't want to call it an invasion, but, you know, the possibility of talent sharing.
I think that the opening tonight, like you said, like Darby Allin and Joey Janela was the best thing I saw. It was my favorite thing of the night.
Hands down. My favorite, too.
So if that is, which, I don't want to take it away from that spot, because I felt like it was a great opener, right? Like,
but it wasn't, with these two, I was pleasantly surprised, because it wasn't even like this all-out hardcore mud show, that you would get or expect, because Darby typically goes for more of a hardcore style. Same thing with Joey. I mean, you had them doing friggin' Fujiwara arm bars and they were mat technical wrestling we saw from these two for quite a long period of time. And, that there was some great pinning combinations. We got that awesome stunner. There was a really, bunch of great near falls. That pile driver was incredible. I can't remember the last time I've seen a sit out pile driver like that. That was another great near fall. Of course, he ends it with the coffin drop, but there was a lot of just excellent wrestling here. The Code Red looked great, and especially doing, avalanche style from the top. I was like, damn, that was awesome. Everything they did just looked really, really well done and entertaining, thankfully.
Yeah, super entertained by this opener, at least. And it's just, you don't want to take it away from the opening because you saw it and you're like, what a great way to start the show. And everything else was already known about, kind of, and had merit. So, like, you didn't need, like, I think they placed it right. But looking at it now back, it's like, man, that could have been the main event, like, to be honest, which unfortunately is weird because that's not good, right, for the main event for me to say that. But the main event was good. It's just...
No, but the main event felt rushed to me. It felt very, very rushed.
Yes, it didn't feel like it just didn't... It was not...
My favorite story beat was obviously everything with Sammy Guevara. I do have a soft spot for Sammy. I like what they're doing with him. This is something we predicted
Sasha Banks
months ago.
Sasha Banks has a forcible spot for him.
No, that she does. And a restraining order.
An unwilling spot for him.
I just, we predicted this, and it is predictable, but that's not a bad thing. Being predictable isn't always bad because they're executing it well. When we see these, we have the foresight to predict what they're going to do. It's not always a bad thing like with WWE because then you get these terribly executed stories on top of it. A la Retribution. We figured out where that was going, and then they just mucked it up. At least with Sammy, we're like, oh, he's going to turn face. MJF wants to take over the group, and that's what they're doing. They're doing it exactly. We're straight on fire. It's like, all right, great. Let's keep that going.
Yeah,
I'm glad that they're sticking with their guns. They're continuing with the long booked story. There's not really AEW is kind of the last bastion of those long told stories. We had it with Kenny and Hangman for a long time. Obviously, now we have a continuance between Kenny and Moxley, but we've seen others, and I know you mentioned this is the best Matt Hardy has looked with this new character. This has pretty much been what he does on BTE, so it wasn't really a surprise.
Right, I don't watch
anymore. This is what exactly you're not watching BT, so
I haven't watched BTE in I think 6-7 months, to be honest.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with it, and it's been pretty good.
I actually can't. You know why I don't watch it? Because I get angry. Because I'm like, why isn't this on TV?
Yeah, there's been quite a few things that I'm like, oh, I'm glad they saved this for BTE. This was terrible, but you can still laugh. And then there's other things where you're like, wow, I wish they had, like the Dark Order stuff. There's been a few times where I'm like, wow, the Dark Order has so much charisma and personality here. That's why people like them. And, Johnny Hungy's over for a reason. You go on the TV, you don't know them at all. That's why there's quite a few things. The Big Money Matt thing, we don't really see that at all. So that was good that we saw that tonight. If they're going to have him do that character, expound on it. Show him screwing people. He screwed over the Young Bucks. He had them pay for a spot that he doesn't even own. He did this obviously to private party. He's taking their money, and now he's doing the same thing to Hangman Page. So it's an interesting story, at least for Matt. If he's not doing the broken thing the right way, at least let him do something different.
I think when the Young Bucks blocked me, I said, "Fuck this."
I don't blame you there, but I think they just got rid of Twitter altogether not long after that. So
they did leave Twitter not that long after. That's true, but something about them, I was like, you know what? Take your circus. No, I'm just kidding. No, they actually they actually did not block me. I'm kidding. In fact, one time I tweeted something weird to them a couple of years ago, and I remember Nick Jackson was like, "What?" He literally wrote like something like "What?" Because I was like, now we can get all lubed up, boys, and you guys can be part of the Cronin Club, and that includes like being in me or something. It was something weird, dude. It was so weird, and he literally tweeted it like, "What the what?" Like it was before AEW was ever even a thing. It was like
yeah.
It was just funny. It was a long time ago, but it was just, I don't know, man. I have that tweet somewhere, and it's wicked funny because the guy's just like, what?
Because he was just so baffled and dumbfounded by the proposition.
Yeah.
It was
about,
hilarious.
It was about me and him getting oiled up. So, that's probably why I would never get hired there now. Because they'd be like, isn't that the guy who was like talking about like oiling us up? Like, fuck this. Fuck that guy.
No. You want to get in there. You need a makeover.
Yeah.
You need some Young Bucks merch.
Yes.
You need a Bullet Club bandana. And you need a Christ on a cross earring. Just one. With your I Love Jesus necklace.
Well,
remember, get you into AEW.
I just remembered, too, they probably thought I was a loser because of that. Remember the loser guy who like...
Well, we're going to make you Christian AF, and you're going to fit in just fine.
Why, are they Christians?
Oh, yeah, that's their whole...
Really?
They're down with the GOD big time.
Are they really?
Bucks.
I thought they were all...
Oh, yeah, that's all their merch now is Christian AF, and they found God. That's why they're not really doing the whole, dirty stuff so much more on BTE, and they kind of got away from a lot of the crass humor. They try to clean up their act a little bit. Yeah.
Are you joking? Is this like a joke?
No, they actually are very spiritual.
What?
And very religious.
So they've gone Shawn Michaels.
Basically, yeah.
That sucks.
That's why I said we got to make you Christian AF, and you'll fit right in. We'll get you in there.
Oh my god! But so they're like Christian, and like Cody is like SJW, which don't go together.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird amalgamation of snowflakes and censorship, but.
Yeah, because when you become a religious person, you start censoring stuff because you're like God and you're scared. You think everybody's like a devil worshiper or something. And then when you go SJW, you want to like end white people. So it's like very strange. Like, wow, man. So they're like, eventually these people are all going to fight.
Yeah, I mean, you said it already, and so did Doom Guy. Of course they're Christian. They're HBK ripoffs, but...
Yeah,
you said it already, but it was just funny as soon as I read the comment.
This is about that time when they're about approaching the age. When did HBK go Christ? Like 39 or 40 years old or something like that? Sometime around that time. Maybe a little younger.
Yeah, because he came back in what, 02?
Yeah, maybe it was 36.
He had his...
Yeah, because, Alexa, how old is Shawn Michaels? 62. Okay, so what's it, 21? So he came back in 2000-ish time, a little after 2000, 2001, 2002. So take away 2, that's 19 years from 62, so 52.
Yeah,
so
I think their father was even a pastor at one point, or still is, so.
Well, hey, man, listen.
That's why Kenny's never touched alcohol. He always. That's why Kenny drinks the milk, and
man, they're all going to fight. They're all going to fight eventually, man. It's going to happen. I'm telling you, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for them all to just break down in AEW and start fighting with each other, calling each other, you were the one that didn't want to push the talent, whatever, black talent. And like, no, you're the one, you're a racist. And then they start calling each other stuff, and the whole thing breaks down. Like, it's coming, man. You can't have that many egos with weird things going on. It's all coming down. You hear me, Tony Khan? It's going to happen. I'm just kidding. I'm just lining up all the, like, I don't know. I'm in a bad mood now. I don't know why. I put myself in a bad mood. I was in a good mood to start the show. Now I'm pissed off. Let me play a donation. Shit bomb. I'm upset.
You become a shit bomb.
I think finding out they were religious.
Amazing show spin on 808 and NXT marks.
James Mesner with the amazing show comment, man. I do agree it was a nice show. I don't think it was amazing for me, but I'm glad you liked it.
It was still entertaining.
It was entertaining,
I didn't hate sitting through tonight, and I'm just really tired of certain things that are dragging on. As we mentioned last week, I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but that's what they're doing. They're kind of in a holding pattern as well, trying to get to the pay-per-view. I get it. They're trying to get to Revolution, but we still got a few weeks till there. How many more times can Team Taz be outside in the parking lot and attack somebody or kidnap somebody, or how many more times?
It's us, Sting. We're in the parking lot, Sting. It's not even his accent. I can't even do it, Philly. Listen, the fact of the matter is, Brooklyn,
you're
whatever it is. I guess he's Brooklyn,
got that
right?
Brooklyn, Philly
Brooklyn.
mix.
I can usually make fun of him, but not right now. The point is that they did this the last time. Do you remember this? Like the last AEW thing? They sort of went, not quite WWE territory, because WWE is the worst, but I mean, they kind of went like you just said. There was a little bit of a 1 or 2 weeks too long. We talked about that. We were like, it was 1 or 2 weeks too much. Like they could have had a perfect thing. So yeah, that's what I think we're experiencing that again. It looks like so. They need to add 2 pay-per-views a year, or 2 more a year, or 3 more a year, and that would really help things out. I think there's just not enough. There's just not enough to build to, or they start building too early.
Every 6 weeks would be perfect.
Or they're building
every
too early.
Month and a half, or even every 8 weeks. If you go I don't think because they don't have a full 6 because they have the specials, but I don't know. I think it would work out a bit better.
That's true. That's something I didn't think of either. They're doing the special things. I think they should stick to that short-term booking excitement, and when you know that the pay-per-view thing is coming up, start building for that within 3 to 4 weeks, no more.
Or they're just going to have to plan their specials better. Where like Beach Break should have been, because now we have a month between Beach Break and Revolution, so that could have been like a mini Revolution. They tried to do it that way.
No,
but
the problem is that like Beach Break isn't really it's really just Dynamite.
Yeah, well, that's
just
the thing.
Dynamite.
That's the issue when they're going with Dynamite. So if they're going to have these shows and try and make them themed episodes that matter, then they're really going to have to sell these things and do it as such.
Yeah,
they're going to have to boost up production as much as possible and really sell these dream match scenarios or tell better stories. That's what it comes down to. But
holy moly, Donut Shop says, why hasn't Jade and Red Velvet had more time to build? And he laughed out loud. I mean,
I was going to bring that up as well because I know that they're trying to keep Jade as a mystery at this point.
Yeah, this has been months of build because they already built months against Brand or a month against
Brandy.
Months.
It's been
when did she debut?
2-3 segments all together, but. You figure for the actual build of the match, the initial one where Jade went ahead and made her debut, and where she hurt her arm, and then when she interrupted again, the Cody Britt Baker segment. I know she did something else in the back, but we get
Jade,
and then Brandy obviously spoke to Shaq. So
we get Jade confronting Cody, and then Brandy yells at her, and then she says, "Brandy, I'm gonna fuck you up," and then. It looks like we're going to have a match between Cody and her. And then the thing happens to Britt Baker. And then we find out Brandy's pregnant. She says something about that. Then Red Velvet comes out and attacks her in the Britt Baker thing. Right? And then...
Yeah.
And then we get another promo from...
Shaq kind of makes his thing, and then Cody replies.
There's really been a lot of stuff.
And that's when Jade came out, and then that's when we got the, Red Velvet's the final replacement.
So we've seen this story, or whatever, this story. We've seen this.
We've got as much as we can out of the
times.
story. The problem is we just haven't seen anything of Jade, so that's the X factor here. Where in a way, I'm glad that we haven't seen a match from her yet, and hopefully she is going to be a positive surprise and worthwhile. But it's a risk. We don't know.
I think we got to start. I think we should see a few things of like Jade being like, I think Brandy should name her baby Trash.
Yeah, from one mother to another, and then start giving her advice, but backhanded compliment type things. Be really sadistically snarky. That could be fun.
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
Because I'm sure she could be very crass and crude about it, but in a way that's bitchy yet still poignant. She gets her point across. I think it would work well. Jade seems pretty, capable of delivering those type of promos on the mic. She's done well with that so far. There's just not much more for them to do with the story. We just got to get to the match or showcase more, because we haven't even seen more much of Cupcake Lady, Red Velvet either. So.
What if Jade throws Brandy a baby shower?
Yeah, have her throw that's a funny idea, and that's something they can do. To kind of even keep the feud going past what they do with Shaq. Once Shaq is a one and done and out of here.
Better idea.
What's that?
Jade crashes her baby shower.
The real baby shower. Yeah, and they can incorporate that with their AEW heels thing. I don't know if they still do that, or their women's stuff. And
so she's getting...
we're all here to have our... And then she actually crashes it, and Red Velvet, she attacks there because she can't fight.
Brandy Rhodes' mother is handing her a heirloom or like a glass something crazy.
I was gonna say like an antique crib. You beat me to it, yeah,
or whatever. Yeah, like this
we
was.
think alike there.
Now, obviously, honey, you're not really gonna put the baby in this, but I thought it'd be something nice for you to have. It's been in the family. This was your blah blah blah, and of course, Jade crashes no one's ever done this before. No one's ever crashed a fucking baby shower, I don't think. And she just smashes the thing or whatever it is, all in front of her and everything. And, that's when, Jade is at the baby shower in her regular clothes and everything and has to attack Jade, or Red Velvet has to attack Jade, And they fight and they go through a window or something fucking just crazy, whatever. They go to reveal the baby by pulling down a curtain, and it's going to be a pink wall, and they pull it down and it's a pink wall, and it's a girl or whatever, and then Jade comes through the fucking thing, rips through.
Yeah, like she ruins
the
the sex reveal. That would be great.
Oh my god, dude.
She said,
I think they already did
do
that,
these type
though.
of things, but at least it's more of a story.
Well, yeah, whatever. I mean, just do something crazy like that's fucking hilarious.
I know we're kind of
but
skipping
see that
all over the place tonight, but that's kind of how they felt.
It ties her
It didn't
in.
feel concise. It just felt like a total grouping of just a bunch of little itty bitty stories. And yeah, that's every show, everything. But the point is, it didn't have that flow that it does it most often needs. Everything didn't feel connected tonight. Things felt more disjointed to me. The flow was not as seemingly easy to digest as it usually is.
Yeah, it was the show.
I don't know if it was match order or the way they laid things out, but
yeah, I think one of the,
I think it was also some of the matches too.
One of the issues was we knew everything that was coming, and the opening match was great to me. So it was kind of like one of these things where like Joey Janela and Darby Allin. They are what's fun to me about, and I know not always Joey. Sometimes Joey just seems like a goofball, but Joey Janela and Darby Allin are what's new and fun.
They can both get too far into that fuck stick territory of wrestling that gets a bit obnoxious.
But I like this.
That's not what we got tonight, and that's not what we got from them at all. And I don't want to say like, oh, they set the bar too high, because they both had better matches, but it was still a very excellent opening match, and I feel like they set the bar too high for what tonight had to offer. I mean, the second match, we get all this done. We get through the first match. We've gushed about it enough. Really good. And then we get a Moxley pre-tape thing. He's calling out Kenta for months, and he's finally going to face him February 26th. So that's the build for that. Then we have Sammy backstage, and he clears out everybody from the inner circle except for MJF. And MJF kind of tries to turn the tables on Sammy by having Sammy say that he hates Jericho, and really just trying to screw over Sammy here. Sammy catches on and sees that, he's recording what he's saying. He's going to use it against him. Sammy smashes MJF's phone and sucker punches him in the ribs and walks out. So that'll continue on later. The second match we had was Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson, who's with the Nightmare family now and just got signed into a contract tonight, I believe, officially, taking on Pretty Peter Avalon and Cesar Bonini. Who? What? Why? That's the problem here, and that's kind of what happened with the rest of this night. Cody was the only recognizable person. I know they're telling the story with Lee. That's fine. The story they told was okay, but you needed better rivals or people to go over for him to get this first iconic win. He's had almost 30 losses in his career. His first win is over Pretty Peter. It's not that big of a deal. It doesn't, Peter was on a massive 30-loss, streak himself. Same thing with Brandon Cutler. That was the big thing between Cutler and Avalon until they went and got their victory.
Did Avalon
a piece?
Did Avalon do something to somebody on the Indies, like where they were like,
I don't know, and it's they switched him from the librarian gimmick. Same thing, okay. They're trying this where he values his looks. Fine. It feels like a ripoff of Dash and Cody Rhodes, and a piss poor ripoff at that. It's not that I don't care for him, but he's good as a jobber, But in this role tonight,
like him.
You needed somebody to elevate Lee Johnson and Cody, and with Cody on your team, you're looking like less of a star, if that makes sense.
What do you mean?
It wasn't Cody putting him over. It was Cody outshining Lee at times, I feel like.
Really? I didn't get that at all. I don't know.
That's kind of how I felt. I felt like Cody kind of upstaged all three participants in this match.
Well, yeah.
Not intentionally either, but that kind of showcased the point that I'm getting at.
He didn't get the pin, though. The other guy got the pin.
Yeah, Lee got the pin, But over Avalon, all right. Avalon had what, a 30-loss streak last year, and finally got a win when he switched away from the library.
It was just I just don't understand what they were like. I honestly was like, was this like to be like, here you go, Black History Month?
Kind of. That's
like, what was
I
that?
was going to get it as well. So this felt really heavily shoehorned. Now all of a sudden, out of nowhere,
like, what the fuck was that? Like, what the fuck?
This is what I'm saying. They introduced this story out of nowhere. So he gets his big win, which they've never introduced before. This concept of him being on this losing streak and needing to get the win, and they've mentioned minor things on Dark, but never on Dynamite. Nothing on the other vlogs. Like, has this been a crucial thing? And
I'm telling you,
it said that in April most of the roster couldn't travel. We needed local talent, so they had him come in. And that's what happened. Lee Johnson.
I'm sorry.
Went ahead.
Black people get angry. Start getting angry because you know what? You know what this is? This was legit. Cody has some T-shirt that they're pushing for Black History Month.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say. And then Lee gets his first win, and I know. Oh, the white guy saying, but it just felt very.
No, everybody, doesn't matter. White guy saying it. All the black people in the chat know what's up, and so don't we. So everybody does. This
really
guy was
felt
like
heavily.
Here you go. Like, yeah, they're gonna mention the Black History Month shirt. I'm gonna go out there with my favorite best friend black guy all of a sudden.
But it's Cody's Black History shirt. It's the Nightmare Family symbol too. So I guess that's supposed to represent Lee now as well, because he's also in the Nightmare Family. But why not have a Lee Johnson shirt? Why not this be his first shirt? Why have him get the money from it so he benefits and the charity gets it? Split the funds so it goes double of a success story.
They legitimately used a black man because he's black to push their T-shirt.
And I know the T-shirt's going for charity and they're doing a good thing there, but again, it just feels so manufactured. And
Cody went to the ring with a mascot. He went to the ring with a fucking mascot tonight. That's what that was.
Yeah, basically, WWE does this too, so it's both sides of the
WWE does
fence,
it. Everybody, but dude, what a weird fucking thing. Listen, if you like this guy who you hired, right, because he's wrestling and he's always losing every 2 seconds, if you like this guy and you were like, yo, we got to push this guy. Like, here's a normal thing where you look at this guy and you go, this guy's a good talent, he keeps losing. Well, man, he's like fucking 0-20 or whatever. Like, well, let's tell that story. Let's start showing his losses and then have him come out and, you know what I mean, and cut a promo, do something, or show him losing on Dynamite a couple more times, and then do something where he's going to win all of a sudden. He's going to turn it around. Something's going to click in him, and you're going to feel for him a couple weeks, and then he's going to hit. And then when he wins a match, you're going to, like, cheer for it. Don't just like, oh, we're just telling you now, because they didn't need to tell us now. They just needed somebody to go out there to be like, look, Black History Month, and now I'm going to win all of a sudden. And
yeah,
Cody
exactly.
Rhodes.
I mean, his career overall this year, he's 1-4, but his career is 1-29. And I understand they started booking him. Tony Khan said, he tweeted it out at 8 o'clock. He said, oh, I went ahead and we needed local talent when the pandemic hit. He worked hard. So under Cody's guidance, he got his first win tonight. Congrats, Lee. Now it's official. He's all elite. That's great. I'm glad he got the job. But you should have hired him months ago if this was the case. He's 1-29. And where's Peter Avalon's? Peter Avalon's record is 6-28-2. So it's not like he's, tearing up, tearing up the sheets here by going ahead and beating everybody. He has 2 wins this year. So they did nothing in this match. It was just insulting, I guess, is how I felt walking away from it.
I agree with you. It made no sense. All I could think was, we need a black guy.
Yeah. Who do we have on the roster? It's Black History Month. Yeah, boy! And they whip it out, and we got Flava Flav hopping out of the corner, Snoop Dogg singing theme songs, and don't forget, we're inclusive, AEW, all inclusive. We hate Vince Russo because, and then they do the same shit.
That's how bad the world is right now. So instead of just having good black athletes like Scorpio Sky, was Scorpio Sky on the show tonight?
No.
Where the fuck is Scorpio Sky?
We haven't seen him in a long time. Wasn't he injured? I thought
Maybe
he
he was injured, but instead of having good black wrestlers, like just not because they're just because they're good, just because, or just pushing some, you pushed 1 million white people, just push a couple black guys. What's funny is I'm not an SJW. I'm not one of these people that's a psycho. But even I can sit here and go, okay, there's some like Jade, she's pushed, she's black, okay, cool. But I don't think about that. Notice we don't think about Jade, what color she is or anything, because we don't see that. We're just like, this girl seems like a badass, and she's wrestling, and she's got a push going on, let's go. But but now I'm stopping and thinking about race and stuff, because this was the biggest fucking pathetic pander I've ever seen ever, and it was fucking weird. Like, dude, it was so weird, man. I'm trying to, like, imagine if it was White History Month for some reason, that whatever, and it was like mostly black people, and then they brought one of the black guys was like, "Yo, White History Month, check out my shirt," and then like randomly he doesn't team with a lot of people, and randomly he comes out with a white guy on the roster who never wins and loses all the time apparently. And he comes out with him on his team, and then the white guy gets the pin. Like, and it's just like, it's like in Star Trek, the remake of Star Trek in 2009. Spock gets into the Vulcan Science Academy, and they're like, "Oh, it's truly amazing that you got into the academy despite your disadvantage." And Spock is like, "What do you mean my disadvantage?" And they're like, "Well, because you're half human." And he's like, "You know what? I don't want to be in the fucking Vulcan Science Academy. I'm going to be in Starfleet. Fuck you." That's what this guy should have said. He should have been like, "You know what, Cody? You made me fuck you guys. I've been fucking 0-26. Now all of a sudden, because it's Black History Month and you need to sell a t-shirt, you're going to walk me out here like some kind of fucking infomercial? Fuck this." But he didn't do that. He said, well, I won't even say what I want to say, but because it would be fucked up. But I don't know, man. It was just weird. Whatever. I'm sorry. It's just bizarre.
Rostapa said that Scorpio is doing behind-the-scenes work and podcasting for AEW Games. I know he's working with James from Funhouse on their new podcast venture together. He was also on the AEW Unrestricted podcast. I didn't finish listening to all of it yet, but it was really good from what I did hear, and he had some pretty, admirable thoughts and standout kind of notions. He agrees with the current standing that there's too much flippy shit in wrestling, and kind of wants to see, high action not always mean you have to do these dives and stuff. But I'm looking forward to seeing them return. I mean, hearing them talk about how BTE was so important, and
right,
it makes sense that that they had these launching points for their career, and now you see these people get on TV. So I am excited. I like seeing new people, new talent. Lee Johnson gets a win. Prove to me, AEW, that this was not a manufactured, shoehorned, feel-good moment just because it's Black History and you're trying to get T-shirt sales. Show me that you have a plan for Lee here, and this wasn't just hey, we're doing the thing because.
I guarantee you, I will bet you anything that this guy maybe comes out next week, maybe comes out a couple more times, a couple weeks. I swear to God, I'll bet you anything that this guy is just about nothing in weeks to come after this. Like this is Mansoor. This is fucking Mansoor or Mansoor or whatever his name is.
Mansoor when they go to
Mansoor. Wow, he's on the roster, on the WWE roster. What does he do ever?
They want
Nothing.
Yokozuna in the worst way, so they get the guy that looks like Yokozuna. Yeah, the same idea. Yeah. They pandered to the Saudi king. The same thing here. Yeah, it's just pandering.
Oh my God, Mansoor wins in his hometown. I mean, listen, wrestling has done this forever. Right? Like
yes, like I said, WWE
still
always does this. Every February they go ahead and like, who's on our where's the New Day? Where's the Kofi? And it's sad. We've always complained about this.
Anyway, but by the way, I do want to say I didn't say it. I tweeted this out earlier and said I hadn't said it, man. But happy Black History Month, man, to everybody out there. I'm not. Someone said I'm racist. I'm not racist. I'm literally calling out their racism. But happy Black History Month, man. To be honest, I'm serious.
5 and 5 holds us right though. We don't want to see him lose 26 more times straight in a row. Now, he lost 29 times in a row. He got his win. That's it. Let him get his chance.
Yeah,
Let's see what this guy's got.
But instead,
if it doesn't work, that's on him. If he can't get over with the crowd and what little audience they have, but with TV audience anyways, then something's not right. But give people a chance. I like the Acclaimed, believe it or not. I know a lot of people don't really care for them, but I like their entrance.
I'm starting to like them better.
It's growing on me. The more when I first saw them, I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then it just kind of grew on me as weeks and weeks went by. And they've been very entertaining on Dark. And the few times we've gotten to see them on Dynamite, they've done very well. The match they had with Jericho and MJF today, I thought was really good. It wasn't, a barn burner. It wasn't amazing. Didn't tear the house down. Jericho is a little bit slower than I'd like him to be, unfortunately, and MJF was feigning injured, so that also took away from the match as well. They were more worried about telling a story there than actually wrestling a good match,
right.
But what we got for the match was good, so
yeah,
I'll give them that.
I like it. And just to go back real quick, someone did say there was a little bit of a build-up of him losing and Cody trying to turn him around, so if I did miss that, then I do apologize. Maybe that is something that we did
not
miss.
on Dynamite ever. When on Dynamite?
I guess no. They're saying on Dark. I guess, but it's
on
like
Dark. But I'm saying that you've never seen
Dynamite.
him. Dark doesn't even with me saying on Dark, it doesn't matter. Dark doesn't count. Dark, now getting what anywhere from 100,000 views.
The other thing is, I sometimes watch Dark in the background, and I'm not paying 100% attention. I'm kind of watching the matches sort of with mute. So that's. Again, I could have missed it that way too, even if I did see it and I don't remember. But it's just like Banner. I'm not trying to give him a hard time. I'm sure Cody
the most recent
like,
one got 233,000 views. That's good. That's more than Impact, surely most times. Yeah. But here's the thing: it doesn't count because it's not your TV audience. It's not the weekly TV audience that's seeing it. It's a very small percentage. This is not getting, people are still getting used and showcased, and that's a great chance and opportunity for them to learn. I like how Dark started. Unfortunately, the pandemic ruined that. That's not AEW's fault. They were having a different guest commentator come in every week, and they were doing 3 matches in front of a live crowd, 1 before and 2 after the show, as you had saw with, Kenny and Joey, and it was working out quite well. This is just, unfortunately, it's something for people. It's a launching pad, but it's not on cable TV. So I appreciate that people are still getting a chance to work, though. Ryan Namath and Pac, that match was a waste. I know they're trying to just show that Pac is a total bastard, and he did brutalize Ziggler 2.0. And the younger Ziggler went ahead and was yelling at people on Twitter not to share that face of him being passed out and choked unconscious, and his brother shared it right away, so everybody was laughing about that. But gotta have Dolph shit on you. Gotta have Dolph shit on you.
If I was Vince McMahon, I would be breaking stuff. I'd be like, you share another fucking thing of their shit.
That's what surprised me, but Dolph doesn't give a shit.
If I was Vince, I'd have a meltdown.
Speaking of meltdowns, I have, never a way to prove it. You always hear things in the wrestling business, but we'll talk more about it tomorrow.
What the fuck?
What's that?
They fired fucking Gina fucking from Star Wars? From the from the Mandalorian?
Gina Carano?
Yeah.
Really?
What?
That's huge.
I just saw that pop up on my feed. They fired the fucking girl from the Mandalorian. For being too fat? Like, what? I don't get it. What the fuck?
There's some social media controversy.
What the fuck? I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with wrestling.
Lucasfilm calls her social media post abhorrent. Actress no longer employed by Mandalorian Studio.
What?
She said, what did she say? The actress shared a TikTok post, a comparison of the divided political climate to Nazi Germany. Oh, so she was trying to talk about today compared to Nazi Germany. She said Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views, she wrote.
That's what you got fired for?
I guess this started a hashtag fire Gina Carano began trending.
Wow, dude, just kill us all. Kill this whole fucking country. Are you serious? What?
She also had a quote saying Epstein didn't kill himself, I guess from a while ago, that people pulled back up.
Who gives a
that
shit?
Could have been a joke.
Everybody knows he did. Like what the fuck?
I know, but that could have even been like a meme
If you
thing.
polled the fucking country, 80% of the country would say he didn't kill himself.
And then she said, expecting everyone you encounter to agree with every belief or view you hold is fucking wild.
Wow.
So what's wrong about that? That's true. So there's a hashtag we love Gina Carano trending, and then there's a hashtag that's really trending was fire.
Oh my
Gina
God,
Carano.
I was right. Do you remember why I didn't watch The Mandalorian? I said I wouldn't watch it because I was worried about SJW shit. And I was like, I'm not watching it. I'm done with Star Wars. I'm done with anything SJW. I'm done with it all. And I watched the first 4 episodes and I went, fuck, it's good. All right, here we go. And now I'm 4 episodes in still. And this comes out. Are you serious?
I guess she stirred up social media in November with mask-wearing comments and voter fraud comments, and so people were already.
Oh my God, who
she
cares?
Was on thin ice. She was on thin ice with Disney. I'm saying I don't care.
Twitter,
you shouldn't
man.
care either. But in this society, but what she
God.
said is not wrong. That's a factual part of history. People were taught to hate Jewish people. And they're saying that, what's the difference between teaching people to hate each other today for their race, for their sexuality, for their creed? She's right. It doesn't take much for people to say, oh, Republicans are all evil or Democrats are all evil. And you have that mindset and you start to hate everyone. That's what she's saying. It's not impossible for this to happen again, to have people, hate everyone blindly. I don't see what she said being insensitive or... Unless there's more to it that, because, again, we don't know the whole story. We just found this out as we're talking about AEW. But
I'm definitely not watching. I'm done with The Mandalorian, man. Fuck that show. Fuck you.
You didn't even start. You're done with it already.
I'm done. Episode 4, I'm done. Fuck it. Fuck it. I hope nobody watches it.
I was saying before, we'll talk more about it tomorrow, but with Nia, I guess people are genuinely upset with her yelling out "my hole."
Why?
In the back with WWE because they not only removed it from YouTube, but it was supposed to be treated as Lana's big crowning achievement, and they felt like Nia didn't want to put Lana over and made a mockery out of the situation.
She definitely did, that big heifer. She was like, oh, my hole. Like, what?
So now no one cares that Lana got her revenge to put Nia, and Nia didn't even go through the table all the way. The camera just panned. She actually pushed the table up. I went back and rewatched it. She did. Her big ass, when she hit the table, she just pushed it up so the legs went down, but she didn't actually go through the table.
Yeah, like barely.
So funny enough, whatever. But point being, I'm not saying it wasn't funny with her yelling "my hole." It was funny, but the point, but it shouldn't have happened because what they were trying to do is get Lana over in that point.
Yeah.
So I can understand why anybody in the back coming up with this creative idea would.
She's an idiot. I mean, she's an idiot. I mean, so that's what's funny about this is that they're actually mad in the back that she fucked something up. Hello, welcome
they weren't
to
sure
Nia
how much
Jax.
was heard because the cameras were there, but the mics, obviously they're not mic'd when wrestling, and she was extra loud, so they knew they didn't get the censored in time. They did censor it on the YouTube, but apparently there's a good amount of heat. This is all, take it with a grain of salt. This is allegedly, but I've heard this a few times that this is not a great situation and people are pissed.
Oh, I guarantee you people are pissed. But they're stupid because this was the most important, trending, fun thing on Twitter. If this hadn't happened, nobody would have been talking about Raw at all, and they almost weren't because it did a 1.7.
But they feel like they're talking about Raw and being made a mockery of.
I agree. But still, like, what do you expect? You put out a botcher. You put out a botcher.
To the mindset of any.
You put out piggy face. Attention. You put out piggy cunt Nia fuck. And she doesn't care about anybody. All she cares about is the next fucking cake she eats and looking like I'm a beauty queen on a magazine.
It was already, we talked about this last week, actually. Remember on Out of Nowhere how she was starting to get heat backstage for injuring people finally? All of her defenders and people coming to her aid were no longer speaking on her behalf. Now it was just more detractors. She was getting heat already backstage. And that was one of the things we were discussing. And then she goes ahead and makes an ass out of herself by sending out tweets, basically making a joke out of injuring people. So she acts like she has no remorse for any injury she's caused, and everything's just a funny haha. And then this shit happens where she, intentionally pulls a Shawn Michaels and HBK in the Hulk Hogan match at SummerSlam and throws herself all around and screams her hole is broken.
Yeah, that's basically what it was.
Yeah, she politicked her way to, not quite where she wanted to be. And unfortunately, she was going to have to do the job to Lana, and it seemed like that didn't want to happen. So it's unfortunate, but, it was a funny clip. I know it's funny, but for all the wrong reasons. I can see why, certainly, it would piss off anybody in a creative sense.
Yeah, I mean...
But we've got that to cover. We've got NXT to cover tomorrow night. We'll have previews for NXT this Sunday for their, Valentine's show that we're going to be reviewing as well. And we'll be covering some other stories along the way. Details about Impact, New Japan, AAA, and AEW, what they have in the future in store. So definitely want to tune into Out of Nowhere tomorrow. Continuing with this show, like you said, acclaimed MJF, Jericho. The match was good, but really it was all about the Sammy turn afterwards. Even though this was predictable, I loved it. Sammy said, I told you back in December, one more thing happens, I'm done. He walks out. There's no fist fights. There's no, it didn't break down and devolve into that. Jericho legitimately seems upset, but Sammy's had it. This is great. Sammy's going to be a great babyface. I can't wait for this. I think this will work exceptionally well. Now he can battle slowly but surely with everyone on the inner circle as MJF gets into their ears and turns them against Sammy. I think it'll really turn into something quite worthwhile.
Yeah, Sammy seems like he went up a notch just by doing this. Shit bomb. So that's pretty cool. It's Ballsy. What up, Ballsy?
Good show. Good show.
I thought it was a good show. Yeah, I thought it was a 6 out of 10 for me. And, maybe it could have been higher because Darby and Joey was so good. If I was going to go back and watch anything from this show, I would only watch Darby versus Joey. And that's really about it. I don't think maybe even the women were all right, but I don't think I'd go back and watch anything. Shit bomb. Nope.
You become
JCS Foot Rub with a super chat.
Foot Rub.
Thank you, Foot Rub. What's up, man? Would you watch anything back, Jake? I don't know.
Sure. I probably not. Besides what you already mentioned in the opening match, the main event just felt very rushed. Like I said, the Thunder Rosa and Layla Hirsch match. I'm not a big fan of Hirsch. She's not bad. I get she's like a female angle kind of that they're going with, that Olympic hero, German suplex machine. She doesn't excite me. I'm obviously a big fan of Thunder Rosa. Glad she won. That's a big advance for her in the tournament. We knew that was going to happen, but not a bad match. Just nothing that really excited me all that much. And then they had Jungle Boy being interviewed. He went ahead and actually had a really good sit down here. He did quite well talking, so I like what he had to say. And next week we'll see FTR take on Matt and Mike Seidel, so that'll be interesting. And then, like I said, main event: Kenta, Kenny Omega, Lance Archer, and Moxley. They really did a lot here to make Archer look like a super beast, and I get what they're going for. It's good. They don't have a ton of face guys, and especially not a ton of monster people. They've got Wardlow, they've got Hager. So having Lance in this type of role and making him be so dominant, where it took multiple moves and people to take him down, I like that. I like that it took the Good Brothers and Omega to all set him up, take him out at the end. They land the V trigger, and then they all set him up for the one-winged angel. That looked good. Even though the Good Brothers had to assist him, it showed that Kenny was determined he was going to get the win no matter what. Good look for him as champion. So not a bad main event. Like I said, just felt a little bit discombobulated, and I didn't appreciate when they went in the back with everything into the kitchen and all that. I could have dealt without that. So that's just me personally, but
I didn't care. There was something I wish Okay, I take it back. JCS Foot Rub, thank you for the donation, by the way. I gotta take it back for a second and say that, I've been shitting on Matt Hardy. I don't like any of his gimmicks after 2016-17 with the broken stuff. I love the broken stuff. Don't love anything he's been doing recently. It's so weird and cringe. But, tonight, for whatever reason, that Matt Hardy was funny to me. I laughed, and he did the whole fucking... I'm trying to think of the movie it was where the guy dumps out the shot, and it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, every time they go to drink,
you know what I'm talking about? He throws... it's an old time gag, but I mean, it's like it's one of these. It's a movie where the funniest one I ever saw was a movie, and you know what I'm talking. We know what we're talking about, and the person actually throws it over their shoulder or something, and then like that's even funnier because that's how they did it. And I don't know, man, but somehow he fucking pulled off making that funny, and I started laughing. I mean, he was full on used car salesman tonight, and it was funny to me. So all I can say is usually when he does this gimmick, I give it like a 4 out of 10. I would give what he did tonight probably a 7, like, or something, maybe. So I would say, you know, if I was to watch back Dynamite, I would watch the Darby Allin Joey Janela match, and I would watch the Matt Hardy segment because I actually was entertained by those things. So,
there's another movie besides Grown Ups, but
it's
yeah,
not
that was
Grown
one of the
Ups.
ones they
It's
did
not
in Grown Ups too. It's
yeah.
not that Airplane. I
No.
don't think so.
It's in a lot of movies, but it's
yeah.
oh my
Matt,
God.
Matt Hardy is certainly a show. It's for himself. I mean, it's. I like this. You know, so far it's been decent. It's not great, but it's decent. It's enjoyable. Matt's doing something that's okay. He's working with Private Party, so it's putting them over. I'm not crazy about them adding Hangman with this. I was kind of hoping, you know, no more teams for Hangman. So we'll see what happens, but won't be long for him to go ahead and screw over, you know, everybody, Private Party, Hangman. So we'll see what happens. If you know, does Matt end up procuring more talent and becoming a big, you know, threat to Tony Khan as he's trying to set up his own stuff, it seems like, or does the Carney side get him in trouble and does he end up, you know, losing all of his talent? We'll see, but at least there's a little bit of story there to go off of and some type of intrigue.
I think that, yeah, I'm trying to think of, I mean, they sort of made Lance Archer look pretty badass in the final.
Yeah, they made him look like a legit warrior. I mean, they had him triple teamed at times and still powering out, so.
Marty! You know Back to the Future's on TNT right now?
Really?
Yeah.
Next week, we have the Young Bucks. They're taking on Santana and Ortiz. Now, that was a little odd when they announced that tonight. You know,
yeah.
they're doing their backstage interview, and they're like, oh, we're going to challenge, you know, Santana and Ortiz. We're going to defend the titles before the pay-per-view. Why? Okay. Sting is going to call out Team Taz again. So next week, Sting's going to come out. He's going to walk out. It's going to snow in Tampa.
When he turned around and looked at the Titantron again, and I went, "Oh my God, again!" Like, are we really every week? It's fucking Shredder on the evil TV being like, "You know what we're gonna do with Taz, Sting? We're gonna fuck your mother in the parking lot, you fuck!" Like, and Sting's like, "All right, snow's gonna fall on my head." Like, it's the same thing every week. Like, I feel like we're seeing too much of Sting now, too. By the way, I feel like. Hold him off a little bit.
I said that to begin with. I said it. I was very, very worried. I wanted to have them, you know, use him sparingly, few and far between, because that first introduction, I watched that debut on YouTube, I think like 10 times over, and I'm not even the biggest Sting fan. It was just unexpected and badass, and especially with COVID and the year, like it was just a breath of fresh air, as cliche and stupid as that sounds. With everything bad going on in wrestling at that point, it was like, wow, this was a really genuinely surprising, fun moment. And I was interested to see what they were going to do with the Icon. And then he cut that great promo, kind of like threatening Darby for copying him. So I'm like, ooh, do we see these two go at it? Then suddenly he teams with him. Then Taz gets involved, and it's just been brewing for 2 months now. It got old. It got boring. They come on, like, Sting should not have been out there as much as they had him out there, and they really just should have held off and, you know, waited until, all right, it's time for the match. Now Sting's going to come and save Darby's ass. He shouldn't have been around. He should have cut that promo on Darby and left things open-ended. Now Darby's out there 6-7 weeks later getting his ass kicked. We got the street fight, the cinematic street fight, where it's just supposed to be Brian Cage versus Darby Allin. Oh, but all of Team Taz shows up. But Sting shows up to help Darby Allin. You know, that would have worked. A big surprise.
Yeah.
Instead, we get this pre-announced fight. And, you know, all right, you're going to announce it. I know they're trying to build it up, but I feel like they're just ruining whatever goodwill they have left.
Yeah, I think that it's just gone on. It's like we just said it. All these things are going on too long, and especially a guy like Sting. seeing him every week. Unless he's going to do something impactful or say something that's big. You know, you could tie all these segments together as almost the same thing, 3, 4, 5 of them.
That's the thing.
So,
it's just been on repeat, literally. It's done nothing different. They've been in the parking lot yelling, they've attacked somebody or someone else, and that's been it.
It's not as much like The Fiend, like when we used to say, man, The Fiend's going to be on TV more, man. Like, I mean, he really barely ever shows up. The Fiend ain't Sting. You know, you can keep Sting, you know, you can have Sting every couple of weeks or every, you know.
And Sting's also, you know, twice the Fiend's age, just about. So that's another issue entirely. And that's why I was, you know, apprehensive about, can we even see him wrestle? What can he do? The last time we saw him in a ring was with Seth Rollins and Sting collapsed. You know, that image stays in my mind, and that's something that I don't want to see again. I don't want to see him collapse and be hurt. So that's why I was glad to hear that he was doing so much better with the stem cell stuff. And all right, let's go ahead and get this going. And instead, we've just had these really silly talks with Snow.
Right. Oh, I see more on this Gina thing, what you said. Gina Carano fired from The Mandalorian after comparing Republicans to Holocaust victims. But she's not comparing really Republicans to
that's
Holocaust
what they're saying,
victims.
That's not her tweet. She's just saying that.
She's saying this is how things like this can start.
Exactly.
So they're taking her words out of context and just saying that, oh, you're comparing Holocaust victims to Republicans. By the way, I've been saying this, and I'm not a Republican.
Yeah.
But I've been saying, like, dude, if you demonize people
both
enough,
sides.
Yeah, you shouldn't demonize anybody. Any groups shouldn't be demonized. Like, I don't want to. I used to talk shit about people too, but I got, you know, religious right wing people. But it's like I don't want to see the whole country start to do that on these on people and other people. Like, what? I don't know. This seems like a attempted warning of caution peace tweet. I don't know. Maybe there's other things she did. People are saying, I don't know. This is crazy.
Well, she's always kind of ticked people off on social media.
Yeah,
with her,
welcome. Just,
you know,
everybody
Republican
get off
views.
social media. Like, everybody, just get off social media.
I mean,
you know?
looks wise, I was obsessed with her when she was.
I didn't
an
even
MMA
like her.
fighter. Oh my god,
I didn't even like her. I just
and then she started acting.
Didn't she get hired because the SJWs? They hired her because they're like, we need a female that can do something, and now they
kind of seemed that way.
They canceled her. Like, they were the ones. They were like, we need a female to be the cool. Even though like there was the Mandalorian story, but they were like, let's bring a female in. And now, like, they literally SJWs brought her in because they needed a female, and then they literally canceled her. Oh my God, this is like when Bernie Sanders was having that rally for equal rights for black people, and then they took over his whole rally and then like fucking beat him up. Oh my God. Anyway, I just found this out. I don't know, man. Whatever. Anyway, back to wrestling, but man, fuck this country.
So yeah, we have everybody gets a title match, Young Bucks versus Santana Ortiz, which wouldn't Jericho and MJF be pissed that Santana and Ortiz are getting a title shot before them and they're the number one contenders? And then we said Sting's going to call out, you know, Team Taz. Serena Deeb is going to be taking on Riho in that world title.
Whoa, why did you just do
tournament.
that?
Matt and Mike Seidel are taking on.
You like? Are you trying to kill me?
I have to. It's just it's too good not to.
Star Wars is a joke anyway. It's a good point. It's pretty much done. So isn't Star Trek. It's all done.
Well,
Jake, we got to create a new one.
For a while, the Mandalorian was kind of saving things. It seemed like Favreau and whatnot. They were kind of like stepping into the right direction. They were bringing in some of the stuff that they took away from canon of Star Wars, and they were telling a pretty damn impressive narrative and story. And then,
but you know what is coming back to save us?
What's that?
The Orville. The Orville's coming back, folks. If you can't do Star Wars and you can't do Star Trek anymore because of the new SJW agendas, the Orville is coming in September.
What's his name? Seth MacFarlane, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Orville's great. You haven't watched it? First 2 seasons?
I still have not watched this.
Dude, I'm telling you. I wasn't going to watch it because I was like, what is this, Galaxy Quest, but like goofier? It looks like it was like a super mockery of Star Trek. But me and Leah watched the first few episodes, and we were like, what? I mean, this was years ago when it first came out.
Yeah, I remember when you were gushing about it when it first released.
Like, dude, like, I mean, it's almost weird how serious the stories are. Like, there's comedy, and it's not it's not like the same tone as Star Trek: The Next Generation, but it's weird, dude. It's like in Star Trek: The Next Generation, whatever the point of the episode was, the story, the message of the episode or whatever, that tone is in the Orville. Even though the rest of it is layered in comedy and sort of being a little bit cartoony, it's like amazing. Like, it's fucking amazing. I got angry at one point. I said, fuck, there should have been another Star Trek, and these should have been stories in that Star Trek. I want to see these stories in a real Star Trek, but because they're better than Star Trek right now. You know, the Star Trek, the whatever the fuck it is, the goddamn Discovery. Yeah. This show is better than Discovery, better than Picard, better than Star Wars. The Orville is better than all of that stuff. The first season.
You've always said, and a lot of people on Twitter always said it was much better.
I can't believe it, dude. It's
better
fucking
characters, more, like true to their own story.
And then, dude, they had that episode that aired around the same time the Black Mirror episode aired about the social media score. And I was like, damn, that's some scary shit that's actually happening now in China. And then Black Mirror also did an episode that was way more fucked up with the same concept. And I was like, wow. And there's Discovery fucking ripping off someone's comic book for their first season. They ripped off some guy's comic book and stole his story. Meanwhile, the Orville and fucking Black Mirror or Dark Mirror, whatever the fuck it's called, are doing these like crazy like what ifs. Like, what if we keep going this way with things? You know, or are we going to cancel them too for thinking about what could happen? Just crazy. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, get off of Twitter, everybody. Just get the fuck off there. I know I should. If I didn't have this show and I didn't need to connect with some people about some things and get messages out about shit, I wouldn't even be on Twitter, especially after they banned me 5 times. I mean, what the fuck, dude? I won't even be on Twitter. It sucks. But I'm on it only because of this show. But yeah, if I was a normal, was like, I'm Dan and I'm gonna go on my personal Twitter account, I would not have a Twitter. I'll be on fucking MySpace, or I would have my own website, or I could be like, family members, you want to find out about me? Check out my website, man. Red Sox traded Andrew Benintendi. Well, I want to. Let's just pile on. You know what I mean? Let's just keep piling on me. You know, I have some really funny videos of me, which I was posting on Twitter, by the way. Anybody who hasn't seen them, you will enjoy. Did you like?
There's some classics in there. There are some certain good 2001 classics.
Dude,
I have Cronin on there.
I have hundreds of hours. This one right here.
I wish I had old tapes and stuff. I'm telling
you,
I'm jealous that you do.
I have everything. Everybody. I just talked to one of my ex-girlfriends earlier. I said, as I tweeted something about her and me and Leah, I told Leah, I was like, look at this. And she goes, yeah, you were filming all the time. Like, I remember you were filming everything. I'm like, and I have it all. And she's like, are you serious? I'm like, I have it all. So in this video, we're shooting this promo for the prom. And this other girl wrote it. This girl wrote it. And I'm like, okay, I'll read what you wrote. But it was kind of cheesy. So then I was over-cheesing it. So I went Nia Jax about my hole. But while we're doing it, these girls were, like, watching us. And I turned around and I was like, yo, what's up? And they were like, oh, we're just watching. And I was like, yeah, well, you can't do that because they're going to, like, security's all over. And I was just making it up. And these girls would follow. Like, wherever I went, they would show up and be like, hey, like, it was just weird. Like, and I remember I was fucking with them. But yeah, look at this.
What are you guys filming?
We're just messing. We're doing a PSA thing.
So you have to say, I can't rock my vocab.
What are you guys doing?
Just watching. We're not allowed to watch it.
Just watching. And I'm like, are you fucking serious?
I can't rock my vocab.
What are you guys doing?
Just watching. We're not allowed to watch it.
No, No, we just got crazy stuff. No, Psycho's gonna be down here and he's gonna be like, stop watching. So, he already done.
Yeah, why would some guy come by and say stop watching? Nobody would.
You had to screw with him no matter what.
I'm just fucking with him so bad, like.
So
I wouldn't care, but he'll care. But I love you guys anyways.
Thank you.
Nope. These two lesbians tried to watch me doing my thing on the camera. She heard me.
She heard me.
Cola?
Well, it'd be good to see students.
Get him doing all this. Alright.
You have to get that out.
Sorry, I'm okay now.
Marshall Mathers.
Am I supposed to be taking the hood off? No, yes indeed.
I can see the bald spot that I'm gonna have. Look, it's even. I told you, like it was even there in high school. Look at that. There's a little thing right there.
Oh, am I supposed to be taking the hood off? No, yes indeed.
Yes, indeed.
I got confused.
I mean, I can't wear my lapel.
Alright, here we go.
I mean, I don't know what was going on this day, but I was.
Not to derail from your flashback, we have to go back. But really quick, how is D. Welsh smarter than me? I'm insulted. God damn it!
He's
no chin
I mean,
in hell.
he's got money.
He went ahead and he figured it out. I didn't catch this live, but
What's
he's
that?
right. He just tweeted us that Hangman Adam Page might be smarter than we all thought. When he goes to drunkenly sign Matt Hardy's papers, he takes Matt's papers, throws them away, and pulls out new papers from his jacket pocket.
Yeah,
I didn't catch that.
dude, that whole scene was hilarious.
Oh, it was great, but I didn't catch him screwing over Matt Hardy.
I was fucking dying, dude.
That is great. I missed that. So I didn't see him switch out the papers in the background. I was focused on Matt talking to the camera, saying like, oh, he's going to be screwed, 30%, all that kind of stuff. But holy shit, that's great. At a minute and 12 seconds, basically, minute 11.
Throws him aside as he whispers into the camera. Dude, the whole fucking thing killed me. Dude.
See, I didn't pay attention to that. I just saw him signing the papers. And so Hangman's smarter than frickin'
the Matt.
The one and only Big Money Matt.
Because that would have been sad if they made him look like a dumb fuck, you know what I mean?
Well, that's why he was covered by being so drunk, because they were saying he was ordering, quadruple scotches, whatever, that kind of thing. He was drinking heavily. So I was like, all right, that makes sense. That's how they're going to get him. But he was right. It is legal. Even though he was drunk, it wasn't under duress, and you can fight it. But really, so that's the thing they're going for with Matt. Matt originally said, you guys can Twitch, you can Cameo, you can do it all. And then he ended up taking 50% from Private Party, not 30. So that's his gimmick at this point. He's screwing them all for money. He's a kind of a Vince-ism, if you will take it that way. But yeah, thank you, Welsh, for pointing that out. I missed that.
Hilarious.
That is a great bit of storytelling. And see, that's the kind of thing at times. They'll have these key story elements. As we said weeks ago, the finish to the Darby match, where he beat Brian Cage with the same move that Taz originally tried to tell Darby how to do it the right way, and that's what started their feud 9 months earlier. But that's a great callback. But they don't point this out on commentary. They don't see that should have been either broadcasted over commentary. If they don't want it known, fine, okay, but they never make those minor moments feel important, and that's what takes away from the big moments. That's why we're not getting those crazy payoffs all the time, because they're not building it up enough.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. It was I gotta watch. I want to watch that scene again, like over and over, because the whole thing was great. You know what? I don't even think I gave it enough praise. I think it's better than I thought. I think it's better than a 7. I think it might be an 8. I'm watching it again.
They're acting well. They've set it up well. It's had a pretty decent angle so far, and there's a lot of drama too, going on obviously with Dark Order still and Hangman. It's upsetting not being able to see Dark Order at all tonight. That when they were so unfortunately prevalent for the Brody tribute show. I mean, if they hadn't have a tribute show, they did it in the best way possible, and that was amazing. But we really haven't seen much of the Dark Order since then, so it'd be nice to see a bit more of them, or wrestling instead of just something backstage or a battle royal. Yeah. That's just personal thing. It doesn't take away from the score, just an observation. But all in all, I mean, like I said, I could say 6.5 for this night and be happy.
Yeah, I think we're on there. I think it's a 6 or a 6.5, like you said, but I'd go 6. And it was nice. It was all right. It just wasn't. It didn't blow me away tonight, but it was nice, and it was certainly a lot better than the other stuff we've been watching. And that's why I think I started the show with so much energy. I was like fired up, ready to go, because I was like, let's do more. It kind of ended, but it did drag a little bit, and I think it's because just for whatever reason the matches kind of were weird. It was funny, Kenta in his first match in AEW in the street brawl was kind of bizarre, but it was okay.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the thing with them, going all throughout the arena. And I wish they just showcased more of his wrestling ability instead of always having to devolve into, a hardcore match when it comes to Moxley. It just seems like they can't resist going to the outside and getting weapons involved. And I wish we had just escalation. This week we got a wrestling match. Then next week we can have the all-out hardcore brawl. But build to it. Make you want it.
Dude, when Matt taps on the table and he goes, ah, he slams the table. I got to be honest, man. That was good. I've been shitting on Matt Hardy for first of all, we know I blew him for a couple of years. I love the shit out of Matt Hardy. And I have been shitting on him. But
wow, that is true too. Larry Flint did pass away.
I heard about that earlier.
That's amazing. God, you're hilarious. Oh, man, I'm still buzzing off our win last week. I don't think I'm buzzing like you are. I mean, you're putting them down.
I doubt it.
Let's have a shot. Hey, man, as a team, as a combo, we're magic. Cheers.
Cheers.
Him faking it there and dumping it. It's great. It's very well acted. And that's the thing, too. MJF and Jericho cut a promo on the Acclaimed. That was awesome. It was so damn good. And they showcased about 20 or 30 seconds, I believe, of it before the match with MJF blowing up on them, saying how, we all came from the same wrestling school, but I'm the only one that matters, that whole spiel. But the whole 2-minute promo they cut for the match was awesome. And these are the kind of things that I wish they could, show more on TV. Unfortunately, you're just limited for time, but yeah, they have these great, shining moments, and at least they showcased some of it, thankfully.
I'll give you a shining moment.
Ooh, baby.
It will be a shining moment.
Shit bomb!
Oh, shit. You become
a swallow moment.
A shit bomb.
$20.
Decent show, thinking 6/10.
Wow.
Opening match was ironically the best, which says a lot about tonight's main event, which was pure chaos. They did a solid job with Sammy's facet turn. I popped hard when told Jericho he's done.
Yeah, there's something about that Soundwave. Love you, brother. Thank you for $20, man. Thank you very much for that tonight. Something about that moment elevated Sammy a little bit. Nothing crazy, but just a little bit.
Bomb!
Nice. You become Moshmaster D.
Why is nobody calling out Kenny that he is champion, because he is the executive vice president and showrunner for AEW? That would get my attention.
I honestly think they're trying to stay away from it now because
I think they're trying not to bring notice to that the EVPs are the tag champs and everybody that's a important role has a title.
Yeah. I think they're just trying to stay away from that now. They've used it.
Bomb!
They used it so much already.
You become a shit bomb.
It's actually really. I believe it's really bad for the business to have these guys have these positions. I almost would kayfabe their positions if they could publicly, almost say that.
Yeah, they don't have anything. Yeah. They're not directly involved. I would be like, oh, they have input with their creative, but that's it.
Leak out.
We hired Jerry, and we hired Arn, and we hired QT.
Yeah, put out a press thing that they're actually stepping down for that.
Yeah, and let those people take over.
You become a shit bomb.
JCS foot rub.
Joe, who is your favorite tag team of all time?
Ooh, favorite tag team of all time. I mean,
you told me the other day it was the Ascension. You love the Ascension so much.
Oh my god.
So.
Maybe in bed. No. When I was a kid, it was the Rockers. So I loved the Rockers when I was a kid. So I liked Hulk Hogan, and I liked the Rockers, and I liked Roddy Piper. And then
Roddy Piper was.
And then when Shawn Michaels threw Jannetty through that window, I became a full-on Shawn Michaels fan. So I
trying to get away from him, Joe. He didn't throw him.
Yeah, I cheered the heel. Yeah, so I would say Rockers, and never been a big tag team guy. What else can I say?
As time went on, I got more into tag team wrestling, and a lot of that had to do with, as I said, I watched as a young kid, and tag teams then, they were less of a focal point. They were, especially on WWE television, it wasn't really much. you had your tag teams, but they were never the main event mostly.
I think I'd have to go the Hardy Boys, really. I'd have to say the Rockers, the Hardy Boys.
Like Edge and Christian are huge standouts for me.
Yeah, like
New Age Outlaws, were my favorites at that
Yeah.
time. I was obsessed with the Road Dogg.
I'd go New Age Outlaws too, although they were like short-lived in a way. When they were together and doing the bad shit, as the Attitude Era began, like that was a fucking tag team, man. They
didn't have the longest tenure, but they certainly made a lasting impact.
You know, Ted DiBiase and IRS, Money Inc. was good. Not the people you'd think. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people like. I started like you just said. I liked a lot of those teams I just mentioned. Those were my big teams, but you know,
the Wild Samoans I liked when I was younger. Just because they were so crazy, like that attracted me to them being like, oh my god, like they were scary in a way.
Like the Head Shrinkers, the reimagining of them, basically.
Yeah.
I'd say probably too, like, you know, some of the tag teams we've seen in NXT recently have been things that, like,
oh yeah, more recent, like DIY was one of my favorites. I really liked the Revival as well in NXT.
Dude, I like
AOP
Jordan.
Were great.
I like Jordan and Gable a lot too. Like, I thought they were gonna.
Yeah, American Alpha was fantastic.
That was great. But yeah,
so friggin' good.
I'm sure there's people we're forgetting, and there's so many. I know
NXT for a while had the tag division. Now they have the women's division. You know, it's AEW has the tag really.
I mean,
and even
like
that's kind of changed.
I mean, like you're asking me my favorite. I mean, people are naming a lot of teams, but it's like those aren't my favorite. It's like I like the Road Warriors. I like, you know, all these other the Bulldog and. You know,
if I had to pick anybody, I would say New Age Outlaws would be my favorite tag team of all time. But
yeah, I'd probably say if you were like, there's a wrestling show down the street, you have to pay $200. Who do you want to pay for? And you can have any team. We'll bring them back from time. And they said, you know, I mean, I saw the Hardy Boys not that long ago. So, and I would say, fuck, man, I probably would choose the New Age Outlaws. Because they'd fire me up with the intro. They'd come out there. They'd do their shit. But, I mean...
You know who I'd want back? Enzo and Cass.
Well...
Think I'm crazy, but I actually rewatched...
They're good.
A Raw from shortly after they debuted, you know, and after Mania. And just Enzo was so good at commanding the crowd. He had everyone in the palm of his hand. They weren't the best in the ring, and we knew that, but he was just so charismatic, and they fit together, and you needed some of that. You needed that brevity and levity and that chance to just have the story, and they were the underdogs. I don't know why they never let them stay together longer or get a run with the titles. So baffling. The same thing with Heavy Machinery. They got white hot, and they
people are like
on them too.
People are freaking out. Listen, we're not trying to leave anybody off. I'm just naming the people.
It's your favorites. I mean, Power Trip was.
We're not trying to
Triple
say
H
like, we
and Austin
understand
were amazing together, but
we understand the fabulous Freebirds and fucking the Brainbusters. We get the teams that are legends.
Yeah,
right?
the Midnight Express. I mean,
the Midnight Express. You know, I just didn't. We didn't. I mean, I speak for myself.
Heavenly Bodies. I didn't mention them. I mean,
they were good.
But
I just didn't.
I was never huge into tag team wrestling either, and like I said, it wasn't until I started getting into Ring of Honor for a while there, like 05 to 08, maybe like that. That's when I started to get into the indie side of it more, and really it was like, oh, this is tag, because you didn't get a lot of great tag stuff in WWE. I feel like until NXT times, and then they really elevated. Like every now and again, you'd get outliers of it on the main roster, but they never focused on tag team wrestling like other divisions did, or other places. So it's unfortunate, but same thing that I'm disappointed with is John Cena continues to double down on Mania as well. Joe, he's saying, unfortunately, it's out of my hands. He said if it was normal times, I would be there 100%. I'd find a way to contribute. He said, I've sat in the crowd as a fan. And he's right. He did. We saw that. But shooting Peacemaker for HBO Max in Vancouver, it can't be done. He would have to quarantine for 14 days, and that puts production in lockdown. So he'd have to come here, and then when he goes back, he's got to quarantine again. So it's like 28 days in that span already. So that's 2 weeks to slow production. That's a boatload of money, and that's selfish just so he can be involved in Mania. Because really, they don't need him there. As much as they need him, they don't need him. You know what I mean? It's not like he had a program and he's not finishing a match. Mm-hmm. He's not involved in anything. So it would be great. He's certainly wanted, but he's not a necessity. And I get that.
Los Carreros. Buenos
I bet
noches.
you Hulk Hogan would do it.
Please hit that like button.
Every shoot.
Yeah, hit the like button, por favor. Now, let's do it.
Hey Joe, thanks for the late tweet at 4 a.m. letting us know there would not be a throwdown.
You're welcome.
We were all waiting in suspense for you to start the show in middle of the night, cause that's usually the time when it starts. So is throwdown only every 2 weeks now?
I think you probably just passed out or overly busy and tired yesterday, I'm sure.
It's whenever God feels like it.
Whenever God wants to release a podcast.
Whenever God wants to do it. You
did release a bunch of stuff on Patreon.
Young bucks were raised Christian. Their parents were super religious. They talked about it on Jericho's podcast.
So they just but Jake was saying there's like a big change that now they're crazy religious.
Well, now they're just more out about it. I don't know if it's more over change, but now they've got their Christian AF merch and they've been more vocal, it seems, recently. So
are they going to get canceled soon when they start saying that it's okay to be Christian and Republican or whatever?
Hey, we'll find out.
Now they're going to be
the way everything else has happened on Twitter. Wouldn't surprise me.
They better not admit that they're
Facebook. They'll find a way to cancel them.
They better not admit they're Republicans, or they're going to be called Nazis, and then they're going to be murdered.
Well, didn't they? Are they on any social media anymore? Actually,
no. They did. They left Twitter.
Yeah. I know they left Twitter, but did they leave everything else?
Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. Shit, I didn't even know they were so crazy about Christ.
Yeah, I don't know if
which, by the way,
they are on like Instagram or anything like that. I don't see.
Everybody should be allowed to be whatever they are, and anybody that wants to demonize people for their Republican or Democrat or Christ or Muslim or whatever, gay.
Yeah, they're
or
on
straight,
Instagram. They're there.
Yeah, well, look at their ball sacks on Instagram. Their big bulges down there,
So they're still on social media. Yeah.
I mean, good. Thank God they're still here. If they were off social media,
you can cancel them there.
If they weren't on social media, I don't know what I would do.
You wouldn't be able to cancel them.
I would really be. No, they'd still get canceled. They just wouldn't know about it.
They wouldn't hear about it.
Yeah, they wouldn't really. They wouldn't understand what was going on. You see that I found my Over the Edge tape too,
Yes, I saw that from the live taping.
I remember.
And then you also had the King of the Ring.
Yeah.
And a few others.
King of the Ring was crazy, but the Over the Edge is crazy because there's no edit on that. I mean, you don't see anything, but I mean, the WWE Network edited out a bunch of shit. So finding
that they absolutely did. I remember watching that live that night, and I wasn't sure initially if it was something intended to happen. Even when they're saying, "Oh no, it's not part," you just being young, it was too much to fathom in that moment.
From the year 1994 until the year 2001, I have just about every WWE pay-per-view on a VHS with a handwritten Sharpie just like this.
It's awesome that you still have so many of those. The funny thing is, I used to tape them because I would split the cost with my neighbor and rent them at their house. We didn't have cable, and we do it that way at that point. And I used to always tape them so I could hold on to them. And that was the one that I didn't tape. For whatever reason, it just didn't happen. And that was the pay-per-view. We didn't actually get the film. But someone recently was talking, and they were like, the biggest silver lining, maybe it was Hurricane Helms. I forget who, but one of the stories we didn't get to last week and out of nowhere. But he was saying how basically the silver lining of that whole thing was that thankfully it was during a promo segment that he fell. and that, the Godfather was speaking on the Titantron, and the eyes were there. People weren't, the lights were down because they were on the Titantron, and things like. So thankfully, it was like the best time if it was going to happen, which it shouldn't have. We know it's a horrible accident, but if it had to happen, thankfully, you don't have a whole audience filled with traumatized people as much because people didn't realize what was going on.
No, I say fuck that. I wish they saw it. I mean,
I guess it would have been something. I wonder what would have happened though if that aired on TV. If imagine, they were going for the entrance, he was lowering down, and then he fell. You watched him hit how he did and die. Would Vince have gotten in trouble for that? Or
it's
if it was pay-per-view, I think they would have been okay because it wasn't cable. So
yeah,
since you paid, you could pretty much show not anything but close to it on pay-per-view. You're a lot less restricted.
I'd be so mad if people weren't watching me. Like when I went down, like I'd be like, dude, fucking, these people better see me. If I'm gonna die, fall down from the ceiling.
Well, there's the story too that he was yelling, "Move out of the way" when he was falling. You know, to try and help the referee there. So
yeah, he was. I heard that
What's
too.
What's his name? Not Kaderis, right?
I don't know who it was.
I forget.
Might have been
Kaderis. About it, but
might have been Kaderis.
They were talking about it in the documentary that came out, The Dark Side of the Ring.
I want those people to be staring at me and see the whole thing happen, that it's so fucked up that they go to Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus 2 years later and a guy jumps off the trapeze thing and somebody in the fucking crowd has an aneurysm because of it. It reminds them of Not
that they should have stopped the show for the show's sake, but because of the way the injury happened, and it wasn't like, he was wrestling and hurt himself.
Yeah.
With how he died, I always did say they should have stopped the show.
We talk a lot about cancel culture and how weird the world is now, but I dare to say if they did stop the show and say that Owen just fell from the ceiling and died, and the show has to be,
and we can't ask our stars and talent. We need to investigate. Yeah. We need to, we need to make sure everyone here is safe. And I think people would have understood.
I think so too, but
then they could have just given the pay-per-view for free that week on TV, like whatever matches they didn't get to. They could have done on. I know they did a tribute show on Raw the next night, but they could have done the rest of the stories continued, during the week and filmed it and aired it as a special. And refunded people the pay-per-view money or given people credits for the next pay-per-view. Vince had the feed go out, not the one where they lost the power, but there was a local issue in Connecticut with one of the pay-per-view feeds. I think it was a Backlash. And what they did is they gave you a refund, and then they gave you a credit for the next pay-per-view then too. So they could have done something like that. And it wouldn't have killed their business, even if they didn't give out a free thing, just refund the people money for that pay-per-view. Don't give out another one free. Just air everything else on Raw. It would have been all set. But I know it was a different time, and, Jinder Mahal in the chat said the same thing, but Owen didn't want to do it. Grouch is right. It was just, the whole thing was just, it was bad. The Blue Blazer didn't need to be descending. The carabiner that they used was the wrong thing entirely. That should have been just shut down, though. They should have had the chance to have police investigate and, when they did the Dark Side of the Ring and seeing all the file footage and police crime scenes, it was like, wow, they you don't realize it as much the way they were filming, but how much blood was in the ring and how, it's like just really, disheartening. So I always said they should have not continued that night. It just for the circumstances. If someone dies in the ring, most times I would probably say continue the show, but the way that he died was so different. So
yeah. So what I was saying was that it's, even though I think people would have understood, there is a part of me that thinks like that kind of crowd back then was crazy rowdy, and I could see people being pissed. Like I could see people like still being pissed, like what the hell? Like we came to a show tonight, what the fuck? And they almost wouldn't believe it because they'd be like, this is like a joke or something, and they'd get angry. I feel like people nowadays would understand way more for some reason than back then. I feel like nowadays, if you said to a crowd, like, this guy died, I feel like most people would understand more and be like, oh, wow, like, yeah, this show's over. But, like, back then, I feel like some people would have been more angry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I almost feel like we have changed a little bit. even though we don't want to, because we want to still be the crazy fucking psychos that we were back in the late 90s. I don't know. I just feel like you're right. I mean, because a lot of people on Twitter now, just shit I see is just, I mean, dude, I'm 36, dude. How crazy out of the loop am I going to be when I'm 60?
Oh, I'm struggling to keep up with some of the stuff already, just so I can know, what Danny's talking about and into.
I mean, I just like what people write. Like, I
feel ancient.
It's weird because we used to notice this about our fathers and their fathers and like the old 50s and 60s TV shows. It's like when we were kids, it's like the dads from the 60s and 70s, you were like, fucking, those people were nuts. Like, but I feel like now, like, we're becoming that. People are going to look at us like, wow, they were fucking all psychos, like, or they'll call us racist or something. I don't know. Even though it's like, dude, I grew up in the fucking 80s and 90s when everything was awesome and we listened to all this diverse shit. Like, I don't know what the fuck. You're thinking I'm from the 1905s or something. The fuck are you talking about? But it's like, I feel like that's where we're going to be pigeonholed into. And I'm definitely going to be pigeonholed into that because the older I get, the more fucking crazy I don't give a shit. So, like, when someone's like, oh, my God, you're microaggressions. It's like, yeah, dude. Yeah, these are microaggressions. Like, go kill yourself. Like, it's like, oh, my God.
Doesn't that piss you off, too, that microaggressions, hearing that? It's like, ugh.
Dude, if you say microaggressions to me, just open your mouth and go butt pump somebody. Like, just go fuck yourself. Like, dude, if someone says microaggressions to you, beat the shit out of them. All right, and then show them what a real fucking aggression is. I'll show you a fucking real aggression.
You show them what true aggression's all about.
I'll show you a fucking
Psycho
hospital
says
aggression.
True that WWE never went back to the arena Owen died in, and that was actually the Kemper Arena in Kansas City, Missouri. And WWE's been back there. They actually were back the same year, August 26, 1999, for SmackDown. Yeah. Nitro was there the same year, and then they had Backlash April 21st, 2002. So they even had another pay-per-view, and WCW had Slamboree. So they have been back.
Yeah, because that's a very popular. They tore that place down, actually, didn't they?
Yeah, as of 2002, I think, somewhere around there. But yeah, it was early 2000s. But yeah, they did go back to that arena multiple times.
Just like I'm going back to the donations.
Hey all. Remember a couple weeks ago on Monetize This when Jesse was hating on you all because you all didn't totally love to make love to your woman while she is on her period?
Yeah.
Jesse said he was superior for loving the blood, but he don't even have a wife.
Yeah, he was being weird. I didn't really get that. He was like, oh, you don't know how to. He's just trying to overcompensate for having no hips and no girlfriends. Come on, man.
Yeah, he was just trying to sound superior.
He's humble bragging, man.
He's sexually superior.
He's humble bragging about nothing. I get it.
He could make her orgasm just by looking at her. Yeah. But she has to be on her period.
With his eyes. I mean, he even laughed at me, and I'm like, well, I'm not the one that doesn't want to do it. My wife doesn't want to do it. She's like, I'm gross. I feel gross. I feel weird. I don't want to do it.
I'm fat. I'm less fat, but sex in the shower has never been ideal. So, I mean, come on.
I'll do it. I'd do it 100%. But
no, it's wrong cause she said a fact, and facts are controversial to those that don't want to hear.
With Bowlesy, I don't even think it's a fact necessarily. Like, some of the stuff she's saying is kind of like an opinion thing.
It's a mix. It really, because part of it is factual because it is historically accurate. That is what happened. So she's factually accurate in that, but the rest is her interpretation. So that's where you get the opinion.
She's fired for an
crazy,
opinion.
But no one should be fired from their job because of something they say on their social media. Only exception is if they use social media to literally stalk someone down and repeatedly give them legit death threats. Otherwise, don't fire them.
I mean, abolish social media. I agree with you, but not 100%, right? Because, like, what if someone, like, if this girl tweets out, if somebody tweets out, like, I'm going to say, like, someone says, like, all white people need to die and they're not equal to us. And I'll never fucking...
Guess what? I would say mute them, block them on your own side of things. If you don't want to see them, don't click on their page. You don't have to. That's the glorious part of social media.
But still,
I mean, they're bothering you,
but no, them. I mean, if you hired somebody and they were saying something.
Oh,
okay.
So from an employer's standpoint, yes, they can put you in some predicaments, but I would still like to say, okay, they're not being directly. They're not inciting
they
violence,
say
are
kill,
they really?
kill the whites.
Kill
the
it
whites.
Depends on what was said.
Kill the whites. Kill the whites. Kill the whites.
Kill the whites. No, I wouldn't fire them for that. I would.
What?
It's not a good look, but.
Well, wait a minute. You wouldn't fire if they were serious. If they were like, "Yo, I think people."
You can't kill them for the whites, Joe. It's only the blacks.
No, but I didn't want to say that because somebody will.
People aren't going to get outraged if you say kill the whites.
I know. That's why I said that because someone will clip. Because if I say anything
I know.
else,
I'm just being wise.
If I say anything else, I'm getting clipped. So I'll.
No, they probably would get fired, and they would be taken down. But I don't always know if that's the right thing. I mean, if you're not inciting violence and you're not, causing harm, direct or indirect, and it's just your opinion. If it's asinine, ignore it. But then, like you said, it turns into, which everybody does now, I can't believe you would hire someone like that or allow someone with those opinions to work for you. I'll never shop there again. I'll boycott.
No, man, because who cares about the mob? Fuck the mob. If you're the owner of Disney and someone tweets out fucking, like, crazy shit, like real crazy shit, though, this to me is not crazy shit. This is just, like... Yeah. Some harsh like opinion stuff that's going on about the world right now.
That's what I'm saying. If she sent out actual like threats or was trying to, make a gathering of people to go out and start fighting people on the street, that'd be a different.
If you made a joke, like something happened and then like you made a sarcastic joke that was like whites aren't human or something like that, and like it was a joke. And everybody was like, "Oh my God, you said whites aren't human." Like, "Oh my God, like fire." And then I went to the person. She was like, "Listen, I said that because a couple weeks ago, this guy said that this isn't human. So I was playing on the fact, like, with that situation of whites aren't human, huh?" Like, and I'd be like, "All right, well, we're not going to fire because that's not what she meant, but we're going to have her apologize."
Well, that's why context matters. That's what I'm saying too. Like, yeah, I wouldn't fire someone initially, even if they did right. But
like, if you said some race, like end some race, or everyone in this race is a fucking animal or whatever, it's like that's bad. Why did you say that? And then she goes, "Well, because they are, and I don't fucking like them." I'd be like, "Damn, even fire you."
Kill all whites isn't good. That needs to go too. But it's the context matters with everything, and I don't want. There's the problem that one tweet, that one message with me is like, are they having a bad day? Does that one decision really should that affect the rest of your life? And that's a hard thing to really break down, but there's a lot to it. I mean, you look at people make mistakes all the time and they end up in jail for the rest of their life. They end up dead. There are a lot of permanent mistakes that are out there, unfortunately. But
what's weird is like the problem is the other side. A lot of celebrities on the other side have brought up the Holocaust and stuff like that, and they didn't get fired.
No, and that's the hypocritical nature of Disney, and it's because she is Republican. They're more of that liberal leaning, usually, and she's been very vocal on the Republican side of things. It makes sense that they're going to shit can her as soon as they can. They view her as troublesome. Well, but I wish it was over something legitimate. This to me just. It feels more like a "why can't everyone get along" kind of tweet. In my eyes, what she was saying was blindly hating people just leads to more issues. Try and hear everyone out. You don't have to hate them just because people don't agree with you.
JFK said something like that. They shot him in the head.
They shot him too, yeah.
Jesus said something like that.
In front of everyone.
And they hung him from a cross. Notice all the people that always say, like, "Hey, can we get along with? Let's all try to get along because blah, blah, blah." Boom, dead. John Lennon. Who's the other one? There's a countless amount of people that are like, "I believe in peace."
Dr. King, baby.
Yeah, everybody. Oh, Martin Luther King.
You hear the joke all the time. "Oh, he had a dream. He should have had a nightmare." Ha ha. It's like, no, people went ahead and actually did something. And every time somebody speaks up, it seems like their lives are the ultimate cost for it.
Let's all get along, get shot in the head or something. Like every time. Every time. That's what it is. I mean, like, it's got to be. But then if you're like, "Fuck the other side, they need to go," like it's like, you're awesome. Like, yeah, give them a t-shirt. But if you say like, "Oh, we should all be careful not to demonize each other because blah, blah, blah," you're fired.
Yeah. And Nazis were the originators of cancel culture. Yeah, that is not a far cry from the truth.
It's weird,
I mean,
man.
that's essentially what they did to execute millions of Jews.
Not to scare people, but man, we should really be careful with what the world needs to be really careful with what they're doing right now. Otherwise, your fucking food supply chain is going to be cut off, and you're going to be fucking. You better know how to fucking farm, because the people you hate know how to do it, and they have weapons.
Sadly, and they're armed to the teeth.
Did you see that? Did we talk about the snow shooting thing? We got to talk about that tomorrow or one of these days. We're going to do a podcast. Let me go back to Donos.
We addressed it briefly last week and how horrific that was. But
I've had nightmares about the guy being like, "Call the cops."
It was just the whole thing was awful.
Yeah, I thought it was fake.
You become
and then I was like,
a shit bomb.
I was laughing, and I'm like,
then you realize.
Well, the thing was, I read the article about that situation a couple days before, and then the video comes out, and I'm like, "Hey, JCS foot rub, thank you, man." And then I'm like, "Oh wait, holy fuck, this is that from that article," and that's when it clicked, and I went, "Oh my god, this is real," and I was like. Then it went from I was laughing to like I want to throw up. Like it was weird. It was very hard. It was very weird. The sound is what makes it weird. Holy fuck, is it horrible? We've been talking about it for a week now. We just want to keep being scared and miserable.
Well, yeah, especially with everybody going ahead and like you said, laying out that whole time, being like, "Oh my god, this is awful," and it's like, "Yeah, it's awful." Then she's begging for her life, and he even comes back out like you said, with a bigger gun.
She was like, "Fuck you." I guess they've been fucking with him for months. But I don't know. Then someone else said there's no police report on any of that. But it doesn't matter. Like, even if they were, like, I mean, if I was the dude, I'd like smash their windows at night. You know what I mean? I'd like smash their windows.
You get revenge by not coming out in the snow and shooting them in the middle of the freaking day on camera and then taking your life as well. I mean, is it really worth it? No matter what kind of argument you're having with your neighbors, their lives, your lives, gone.
They had a 15-year-old autistic kid or something too.
Yeah, terrible.
That's terrible.
I thought they had 2 children, but that might have been. There was a bunch of misinformation with that too on Twitter, but still, no matter what, I know they are parents regardless of how many kids they have. So there's a child that has no parents now because of an argument outside with a neighbor.
Someone just texted me.
Being super sexy.
Somebody asked if my mother still lives at her house, and I told them, I'm like, she just sold the house yesterday.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, she was still calling him, and swearing at the guy while gurgling, and yeah, that's why you said the audio is just horrific.
Gross. Dude,
just as bad as the video.
The guy's like, "I'm a pussy, huh?" Like, it was just fucking weird, dude. It was like, wow. Like, that escalated quick. That's some crazy shit, bro.
That's right.
He's like, "I got a handgun, but I'm going to go get an AR now."
He's like, "I want to make sure this is done and over with. You don't move. I'm going to go get the bigger gun."
All right, stay here.
That's exactly what he did.
Bomb! You become...
You just donate?
A shit bomb.
Yes.
Let's podcast tomorrow, baby.
You weirdo.
Let's do it.
Let's go. It's the snow's
meet
fault.
Up and record the Jake and Joe podcast.
Yeah, man. I've been awake since 6 a.m. Like, I was dead yesterday from the shoveling, so I didn't even...
Yeah, that I believe it. Between Sunday and then again on Tuesday.
I set my alarm for throwdown, and my son at about 8 p.m. was going to bed. And apparently he came downstairs and took my phone and took it upstairs and was playing like games on it. Went to sleep, and then I woke up at like fucking, I don't know, 3 a.m. or something. And I woke up and was like, "What time is it? What the fuck's going on? Where's my phone?" And dude, I've got an alarm that's crazy. It wakes me up every time.
We've heard it on the show a few times. It is.
Yeah, you've heard it. It's crazy. And
pretty alarming, pun intended.
It's upstairs, and I'm like, fuck. And so that's why that guy asked why I tweeted out at 4 a.m. It's because that's when I woke up, and I was like, oh, fuck. And I went, no throwdowns tonight.
Obviously, but hey, you still let him know.
But to be honest, it would have just been me anyway, because I didn't have anybody to be on. And also, there was just nothing. I don't know. So it would have been fucking weird anyway. So yeah, maybe it will return next week if Daddy feels like it.
Hopefully. Everybody likes throwdown, but you needed a break too. Yeah, I right there with you. You had messaged me, I think at like 11 on Tuesday. I got back inside from shoveling like at 1. You know, by the time I finished sexually pleasuring the old lady next door and then doing her driveway, it took a lot out of me too. And I was exhausted, and then I've been up early as well. So I feel you. You know, it's been that week for everybody. And now Friday or Saturday, we're getting more snow, it says.
I want to make anal beads out of her navel lint for a year and then use them on her. Your neighbor, that is. Can you make that happen?
I can make that happen. I can get you some videos and I'll hook you up.
Thank
You'll
God.
love it. All the lint you could ask for. I could throw in some dryer lint too.
Well, Larry Flint's lint, now that he's dead.
Pound him in too.
Wasn't he in a wheelchair, Larry Flint? Wasn't he in a wheelchair?
I'm not sure.
Tupac
I thought
Shakur.
so, but
pretty sure he was in a fucking wheelchair. You know what I talked to the other day, and this has nothing to do with anything, but
Sting is gonna hit Taz in his junk with the big black bat.
What?
All right. Sting is gonna hit Taz in his junk with his big black bat.
Wait, what was that?
I don't know.
It was a
there we
donation.
go.
There it is.
Snow blows Sting Frostin'.
Wow, that is fucking crazy. Snow blows Sting Frostin'. Oh my God, that's fucking hilarious. Holy shit. It's one of the funniest Brett the Shipman fart. And Stone Cold Steve Boston. That's pretty fucking funny.
You popped me there.
Put that on a t-shirt, brother.
New York is now allowing indoor arena events. They've got certain restrictions, but the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, they're going to employ the new model February 23rd when the Nets are taking on the Sacramento Kings, and they're going to have a 10,000 person capacity.
Let's go. Trump's gone. It's over.
10% of 10,000 person capacity.
Trump's gone. It's back.
Yep,
we're back.
Trump's so we're going to get out of every place that has, you're going to get 10% capacity starting. But that's fine. So you got 10,000 people. That's 1,000 people. That's an audience.
Yeah,
it's better than no audience. I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Ring of Honor's going to start touring again soon as they re-sign Kenny King. WWE wants to continue touring. Joey Ryan's lawsuits got thrown out more, so that's funny as well. You know, we'll cover a lot of this tomorrow and out of nowhere, but I'm telling you, we'll see what happens with a lot of this COVID restriction changing.
Hell yeah, baby. I'm ready, baby. I'm ready. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow for Out of Nowhere. A lot of wrestling news to talk about tomorrow, probably. Hopefully. We'll find out. Or the day will suck. But I think there's a few things to talk about right now. Hopefully tomorrow they'll be developing
finalized card to go over for TakeOver Vengeance Day this Sunday.
Let's go.
Yeah, we got the Dusty Tag Classic Finals for the men and the women's. We got the women's title match, North American title, and the NXT title. So it's a stacked card for TakeOver Valentine's Day, Vengeance Day.
Guys, thank you so much for supporting the Jake and Joe podcast tomorrow on Patreon. And we got your questions. And I put out a bunch of stuff on Patreon yesterday and today and whatever. Go check it out. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. Thanks to all the new $25 producers. We're shouting you out all week. And you are beasts. And I got a beast in my pants. Stay tuned on Twitter for more weird, embarrassing videos of me from the high school years and beyond. Lots of funny, weird shit that I found that I haven't even shared yet. I'm bald.
And now Cancel Disney Plus is trending.
It is finally. I can tweet it. Yay. I want to cancel people too. I
cancel in the United States.
I cancel the cancelers. I cancel the cancelers.
Well, hey, the cancelers are being canceled now. They canceled Gina, so we're canceling them.
April 8th, 2000 will live in infamy. Shout out to the $25 producers.
I'll suck a dick at night.
Hit me with that Darby Allin. Doesn't matter what I came here for. I felt pain and I want more. Oh, I'm not settled until I've done it alright. I split my head open again last night. Oh, I fell.